G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS Supercoach channel. And today we're going to go through best Premo options for small forwards in NBA Supercoach. If you haven't checked out the point guard and shooting guard videos, I highly recommend more the point guard video because I probably go a bit more in depth and there's more options with the point guards. And shooting guards, like there's quite a few of them. Small forwards today, I'm trying to see some double ups. I see three players so far that are doubled up from the shooting guard and point guard video. So I'll only go over them briefly. If you want to see them more in depth of why I want to go with them, check out the point guard and shooting guard videos. But yes, let's start it out. If you don't know already, what is considered primo for me would be Jalen Brown up. So really, I'd say $14 million and over. Some of these guys were priced here that I maybe could have them as primo, like, Levine, uh, maybe not Ingram as much, maybe Porter Jr. or Barrett. Like, I know Porter Jr. is not considered primo, but, he is going to be considered primo kinda because, he's the only player on the team that him and Cam Thomas, the only ones that are like real shooters on that team. Anyways, let's get straight into it. So, number one guy for small forwards, in my opinion, is Scotty Barnes. Now, like I said, went over it more in depth in the point guard video, so check that out, but I'll do it very quickly here. He's small forward point guard eligibility. He's got a good team around him. He's a playmaker. He gets rebounds. Purtle will steal a few, unfortunately, off him, but he will be good. He doesn't take dumb shots either. And I think it's going to be his fourth year. One, two, three, four. No, fifth year. Sorry, fifth year. Normally, this is around the time that, players really start to shoot up as, being great players. And I reckon they'll do that. It could be a similar thing to, Dwight Howard, but Scotty Barnes is them, having the ball in his hands and just shooters except for Pirtle. Like, options galore for him. Number two, we're going to go with Jalen Williams. Also going to go over it briefly. Just won an NBA championship. This is his fourth year coming up. He played when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's off the court. He kind of steps into that point guard role. He played point guard in either high school or college. He gets assists. He gets rebounds. He doesn't take too many dumb shots. He's not a shot chucker. He will be inefficient, unfortunately, just like everyone else will from time to time. I know in the playoffs he was a bit, but he's a great option. Sorry. Excuse me. He's a great option, and I would highly recommend going for him as well. At number three, Josh Giddey. Now, arguably, he'd be number one. But, I've got him like top three in point guards as well. Might as well be top three in small forwards as well. Arguably, like I said, should be number one. But yeah, he just signed a new contract with the Bulls, going into his fifth year, as well as Scotty Barnes, and I think it's just going to continue to improve. He would average the 30. I know it says 23 here, but that's the overall year. He will definitely improve this number because Zach LaVine's impact has left Chicago. So he averaged around 34 in the back end of last year, which was phenomenal. And I reckon everyone should have Giddey, in my opinion. Giddey should be close to being higher. If you want to put into perspective and go past seasons, a 34 last year average was fifth, around fifth or sixth. That's pretty good. So that's why I think you should be going for Josh Giddey as well, just because he's $14 million and has the point guard eligibility too. All right, number three. Now we can go into them a bit more detailed. Paolo Banchero. Pretty similar to Scotty Barnes, just maybe not as much playmaking, but gets boards. He shoots the ball a lot. 3-level scorer. He now has shooters around him. Like I think Wendell shoots. I don't really watch Orlando Magic games to be completely honest, so don't mind me. Um, but yeah, I reckon he's a decent option because now that oh my god, Desmond Bain has been traded to Orlando with Franz Wagner, who's a very good shooter in my opinion. You got Jalen Suggs, who I think is good enough. And yeah, I think Paolo's going to just become better. Like he was the first overall pick for a reason, going into his fourth year. I can definitely see a lot of improvements. Had a 24 point, 24 score average, which is very good, and it's only going to get more and more. So I reckon it's a pretty decent pick. If you haven't checked out this website yet, it's hashtagbasketball.com / NBA fantasy schedule. Please do check this out because this will definitely help with scheduling. With Orlando, do they have a three? Okay, cool. So three. That's the other thing with Josh Giddey. Just going back to him, he does start with a two, which is unfortunate, but probably has a better run after this two here. 3-3, 4-4, 3-4, 3-5. Few threes, few fours. So I mean, shouldn't affect him. But anyways, going back to Paolo, he's got a good start. You kind of want to avoid those teams, but who really cares? But yeah, I reckon Paolo's a very good pick. Should definitely go for him. I'll have a consider it. I'm personally not going to go for him because it's going to be nights where he's going to be inefficient, and we know that you're going to get taking points off those players for missing shots, which is going to be a bit annoying. At number 5, a little bit of an overreaction, but if he's completely healthy, Zion Williamson. He averaged 28 in how many games? I don't know how many games he played last year, but let's have a look. He played 20 rounds worth of games before he got injured. So he looks, I always say this every year since, his big significant injury in the first and second year. But I think he'll be a decent option, and I do rate him highly. Ingram's gone. There's going to be a lot more shots up for grabs. Paul's probably going to take most of those, but there's still Zion Williamson who will definitely improve. Going to his 7th year. Oh my god, 7th year. He's going to his 7th year, and I mean, this is where players hit their prime, which is around the 25-year mark. 27 is technically your prime, but yeah, he's 26. He's going to be improving a lot. He does look a bit skinnier than last year, but like Dyson Daniels said, New Orleans is a bit of a curse when it comes to the water or the food because people get injured down there. So hopefully, I will heavily advise if this is Zion Williamson healthy. I'm not going to go for him just because of the fact that he can get in. He is injury prone, and I'm just not. I just don't want to just take that risk for 17.5 mil personally. Next guy is Jalen Johnson. I had him last year for my sleeper draft, and oh my god, before he got injured, loved him to death. He scores very efficiently, 3-level scorer. He's amazing, really good on the defensive end. He gets rebounds. He does pass the ball. He's a really good all-round player. I arguably liked watching him and liked seeing those stats more than I did seeing from Paolo, even though Paolo scores the ball more at will compared to Johnson. But I think Johnson's a good pick. He averaged 27 last year. That's the reason why he's 17.2 mil. I don't mind it. I don't mind going for him. I would have loved to somehow slot him in, but you've got to put into perspective that they've brought in Kristaps Porzingis, and they've also brought in Nickeil Alexander-Walker, which I know it's more defensive purposes, but he still, might take some shots away. But yeah, and Risa oh god, I don't know if I can pronounce the rookies, the sophomore year's last name, but Zachary Risa is definitely a guy that's going to be improving. you'd think, in his sophomore season and might take more shots. If this was his last year price, 110% would I be going for that. But now he's jumped up to just under 3 mil, which is really annoying. Number 7 is Pascal Siakam. With Halliburton down, we talked about Nemhard. Him and TJ McConnell are going to be guys getting that boost of, getting that point guard spot there. There's going to be more shots ready for Siakam. He doesn't take too many dumb shots. I mean, the last year I can think he took dumb shots as its Beyblade era in Toronto when he just span all the time. But I don't know if he still does it anymore. I didn't really notice it that much in the finals or playoffs in general, but he's going to be a good option. He'll get rebounds now that Miles Turner's gone. Not that he was getting many rebounds before that, but there's still going to be rebounding opportunities. I reckon he might take a playmaking boost just because the ball's going to be in his hands a bit more. So I reckon he's an okay pick. 14.6 mil, that's all right. Number 8, we have got Kevin Durant. Yeah, I like Kevin, but do I want to go with him for 17.6 mil? Hell no. I just don't trust it that much. I know he's going to a new team. I think it's suspected, as well I'm recording this, he's either has signed an extension with Houston or he is thinking of it somehow. That is at age like 36, 7 or 8. But yeah, he's a decent option. He's going to be the first scoring option over there now that Jalen Green's not shooting the ball a lot. Unfortunately, Fred VanVleet's down, so more shots potentially for Kevin, but I wouldn't go with him. I'd arguably have this next guy up. I don't know, when I made this list, this was probably about a couple of weeks ago. Franz Wagner, I'd probably have him above Durant and Siakam, in my opinion, now that I'm looking back at this list. It's kind of similar to Paolo, just doesn't shoot the ball a lot like him. Average 24.4, 15.1 million, like he's 300K less than Paolo. He is going into his 5th year. I reckon he's a good get. I reckon he's pretty good for 15 million. If he was 14 million, even better. But I can't afford him because, I've got Ja Morant as my flex, but I kind of want it. I want it to be Wagner or Bam Adebayo. That would have been nice. But anyways, talking about Wagner here, he'll be decent. He's going to have playmaking opportunities. He scores the ball pretty efficiently and he gets rebounds. So it's pretty similar to like most of these guys on this list and most lists that I make or I've made so far or will make in the future, is that these are guys that are all rounders. You're not going to go for a guy like who am I thinking of here? Like Desmond Bain. Sure, last year I think he had a few games where he had high his assist numbers when Jar was down, but he's not going to be doing rebounding with his T-Rex arms, or he's not going to be playmaking as much. Same with, I'm trying to think, Zach LaVine as well. Like, he's not going to be, he might be the main playmaker. Now I'm just rethinking all my statements while I'm just looking at these players. Like, okay, this is an extreme example, but Kelly Oubre, who doesn't really rebound or assist, like he doesn't play make. He's a corner sitter with all due respect. So if there was an extreme version of him, like as good as like Tatum or LeBron or Durant, he's a guy you wouldn't go for. But for Wagner, like the other guys I've mentioned, is a good option. At number 10, got good old LeBron James going into his 23rd season, which is insane to say, older than me. He's been playing longer than I've been alive. The reason why LeBron is at that low of a number is because his age, and I also think with Luka being there for, like, now this is Luka's going to be his first full season playing, it'll be like less possessions, I reckon, for LeBron, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, he still averaged 30. I think he averaged just a little bit less when Luca came down. It was just this assist that went down went since Luca joined. I listened to a podcast and they mentioned that, so I thought I'd put that into perspective. Rebounding and points doesn't really didn't make a change. Be interesting to see Austin Rivers as well. How much it makes a change. Not much defense between those two. If they're the starting backcourt, I'm horrible with my backcourts and front courts. Starting guards is what I mean. Not much defense there, but yeah, with LeBron, he's going to be playing. He's played 60 games last year, year before that. Like, he's not going to be. He's not going to be playing games, unfortunately. You kind of want to, like a Mikal Bridges is going to be able to play 80 games a year. A lot of guys are going to miss 10 to 20 games. But yeah, that's my top 10. If LeBron and Zion, you were 100% guaranteed that they were healthy, LeBron would be honestly close to number one. Anyways, we can talk about other players. Tatum out for the year. Don't need to talk about it. Josh Hart, talked about in the shooting card video. As much as I had him eighth, he's nowhere near best top 10 in the small forwards category. Like I mentioned in the shooting guards video, he is since Thibodeau's been fired and he's not getting 40 minutes a game anymore. His minutes are going to go down, I think, which means his price is going to drop, his average is going to drop, and he's just not going to be a worth it player to bring into your side. Amen Thompson, you could go for him, but for 150k cheaper, you've got Josh Giddey right there. So don't know why you would do that. Or like 400k more, and you've got Scotty Barnes right there. There's better options than Amen Thompson, unfortunately. Kawhi, I've loved Kawhi as a player, but just this whole contract thing, money under the table, illegal salary, worries me. So I'm not going to go with it. The NBA really needs. I don't want to go too off topic, but the NBA really needs to crack down on it because that is pretty concerning. Because I've read somewhere that or listened to I forgot where I heard it or saw it, but someone spoke to a GM, and they were like, if they don't get punished well enough, teams are going to do this as well, and then it's just not fun. And for teams like Memphis or Charlotte who don't have much money to even in their salary cap to really spend, and their owners they don't really want to use the luxury tax and the first and second apron, it's just unfair. And Steve Ballmer is the seventh richest man in the world, and allegedly he doesn't know anything about it, but his other guy does know and was the guy that money under the table. Anyways, they need to really crack down on it, and his contract might be voided potentially if that's the case. And he might miss the first couple games due to suspension, probably. Jimmy Butler, probably not. He's getting older, and he's with Steph. So I just don't know. I probably wouldn't go with him. Desmond Bain, I kind of mentioned before, with the other Orlando guys. Nah, would not go with him. It's just shoot first on that team now. They've got enough playmaking. He's not going to be playmaking as much as I think. And this is coming from someone who's not really watched the NBA last year. I kept in touch with it, but more focused on NBL. Trey Murphy, no, wouldn't go with him. Even though he's going to get a role change, still wouldn't go with him. Brown, I mentioned it before. He probably could have made the top 10 in the small forwards, but what I mentioned about it in the shooting guard video. He's going to have more shots now that Tatum's gone. But Anthony Simons is now playing, so I don't know what's going down in Boston. They're doing some very interesting things. But yeah, that's all the Primos those are all the guys I consider Primo from Jaylen Brown up. Technically, I do $14 million and over, but Brown's basically a Primo. We all know that. But just looking at other guys, Denny D has a very good option. Playmaker, Portland team, shooters around him. Wouldn't go. I wouldn't touch Demar or Levine. Just Sacramento are just the one of the weirdest clubs of all time. Ingram wouldn't really touch it. Same with Michael Porter Jr. Wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. So just because he's a shot shocker, and Brooklyn are going to be super inefficient with their 500,000 rookies and two shooters. Same with Barrett with Ingram, just not going to provide enough, in my opinion. Same with Anobi. But yeah, that's the small forwards. Let me know if you disagree with me or would change the list up I had. Just a recap: Scotty Barnes, Jalen Williams, Josh Giddey, Paolo Banchero, Zion Williamson, Jalen Johnson, Pascal Siakam, Kevin Durant, Franz Wagner, and LeBron James. Probably moved. I think I spoke about something like Jalen Brown would probably could go up, I reckon, above a couple of those players. They're not. That's just the top 10. Some of them I'll probably change around personally, but yeah, let me know if you agree or disagree with those players and my mindset going into it with their upcoming season and, playing time and position. But yeah, thanks again for tuning into the small forwards. The best options for premiums at the small forward position. Play them at shooting guard or point guard. But yeah, anyways, thanks again for watching. Tune in for the power forward video. I'm not sure when that's coming out. Probably next week. I'm not sure. I haven't recorded it yet. And I've got other things. I normally do a video a day, and you've got to put into perspective with NBL and EPL, their reviews and previews. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.